and not just for a few media houses. Okay, so firstly, we have seen the arrest of some members of parliament regarding ongoing investigations as far as Parliament is concerned, its modus operandi, and so on and so forth. Whenever somebody suspected to having gotten involved in corruption is arrested, ideally it's a good thing. However, some of us are not too excited yet. We don't want to get very excited very quickly because we have seen how things have always happened in the past. That a few people get arrested and the situation dies there, to give the public a semblance of we are doing something about it, to pretty much hoodwink the public. So we don't want to get excited yet. It's a good thing. Some people have been arrested, and our hope is that there will be a lot more investigations, but we hope that this does not become like the Mavati saga, where a few people were arrested, arraigned in courts of law, but many other powerful people were not touched. That ceases to be justice. Our hope is that this investigation will be broadened, because we have a real challenge, and we should not just do window dressing. We have a real challenge at Parliament of Uganda. My hope as leader of the opposition is that we get to cast the net wider if we want to clean up Parliament. And as far as I'm concerned, the cleanup of Parliament should begin with the Parliamentary Commission, as far as I'm concerned. That's where problems start from. I have, for example, written to the Speaker of Parliament this morning, and I'm asking the Speaker of Parliament, when does the Commission meet? I became leader of opposition in January of this year. According to Section 2 of the Administration of Parliament Act, according to our rules of procedure, the leader of the opposition is a member of the Commission. Now, I have learned that there are some quiet meetings of the Commission that have been happening in the Speaker's office, usually with the backbench commissioners. Now, how does that become a meeting of the Commission? Because as leader of the opposition, I am maybe what you would call a front bench commissioner. That's why we have backbench commissioners. But I've never been invited for a meeting of the Parliamentary Commission. And yet I understand there are some clandestine meetings that keep happening because people are recruited. That can only be approved by the Parliamentary Commission. When you read Section 6F of the Administration of Parliament Act as amended, the Parliamentary Commission is supposed to consider revenue and estimates of Parliament and then approve the budget of Parliament before it goes through the other processes, the committee, and then plenary. So in the letter I've written to the Speaker, I'm asking, did the Commission meet to approve the Parliament budget of 2024-2025? If so, why is it that as the leader of the opposition, I was never invited? Is there something that the Commission is hiding from some of its members like myself? Are they keeping me out of the Parliamentary Commission meetings because I ask too many questions? And yes, I will ask those questions because that's my duty. My duty is to keep the government in check. I'm a full member of the Commission, and it's important that I get to know some of the happenings. Members come to me as LOP, and they have complaints. Committees are not properly facilitated. They cannot, some of them need to go to different districts to carry out their work. But each time they request for that, they are told there is no money. How can there be no money for committees to do their work, but there's billions of shillings available to the Speaker for corporate social responsibility? How does that make sense? There's plenty of money available for people to be given service awards. All of these are discussions that are meant to happen in the Parliamentary Commission. Unfortunately, some of us are kept and locked out of the Parliamentary Commission, which is illegal because I am a member of the Commission. And so I want to know, and that's why I've written to the Speaker, I want to know, did she or anybody else amend the Constitution, amend the Administration of Parliament Act and our rules of procedure to say now the law is no longer a member of the Commission because the law is very clear? Are they bothered by the questions that I'm asking, and so they don't want me to ask those questions in the Commission meetings? So that's the challenge, and that's why I'm saying, as some members of Parliament are being arrested, we need to broaden the investigation of Parliament of Uganda, beginning with the Parliamentary Commission, because that's where lots of things are happening surreptitiously and clandestinely. You see, if Parliament is to function effectively, it has got to be accountable, one, to members of the Parliamentary Commission, because that's the top organ of this institution. Number two, it's got to be accountable to all members of Parliament. That's why they're raising questions. But finally, it has got to be accountable to the general public. It's important that that gets to happen. So the tendency for the Parliamentary Commission to operate clandestinely without involvement of members of the Commission raises a lot of suspicion. And this has got to be addressed. You know, the Speaker of Parliament always says that we are a people-centered Parliament. My hope is that this does not just be a slogan, because it seems like a slogan. It has got to be reflected in how we operate and how accountable we are as an institution. So I thought that it's important for this to be out there, because we're a public entity and we must operate publicly. We are public officials. As leader of the opposition, I'm not just accountable to my party, NUP, that nominated me for this position. I'm not just accountable to the opposition, which I lead in Parliament. I'm accountable to the entire Parliament. I'm accountable to the entire country called Uganda. And that's why I'm asking questions about how taxpayers' money is being utilized or misutilized. So we, at least in my case, I am not going to keep quiet whenever I see things going wrong. I'm not going to keep quiet when the Commission is operating like a small clique. Because the Commission is not just these few backbench commissioners that meet, distribute money amongst themselves. They meet to approve recruitments of several people, some of whom we understand are many of their relatives. They meet to award contracts, huge contracts. In some cases where there's even conflict of interest, because some of the companies that are awarded contracts belong to people who sit in some of these small meetings. And maybe that's why they don't invite some of us for these meetings, because we shall ask questions. So I would like to appeal to the leadership of this institution. Let's be transparent. Let's be accountable. Let Parliament work as an institution and not somebody's small kiosk or small property. Because that's why we're having a challenge in this country. That's why there's billions of money, you know, running on different accounts for personal work, and yet committees do not have money to operate. So it is something that I am challenging. It is something that I'm not going to keep quiet about, and I'll not allow anyone to intimidate me, because I'm not here at the invitation of anybody. As voted for by the people of Nakawa West, nobody in this building invited me to be MP. The people of Nakawa did vote for me. And number two, my party nominated me to become leader of the opposition. It was not at the invitation or wanting or liking of anybody here. And So I'll keep speaking out so that we clean ourselves up. All right, let me see. Shamim's hand is already up. Can I first translate what I just said, and then I can pick one or two questions? Olero njagala kwogera ku bintu nga bisatu ku bina. Okusookera ddala tulabye ababaka ba Parliament be batandise okukwata bali mu kaduukulu kubatuulira aliwo okunoonyereza ku ssente y'omusolo ku nguzi ku bubbi obuli wano mu kizimbe kino ekya Parliament ya Uganda. Weewaawo kirungi okunoonyereza bwe kuba kutandise, naye efe abamu tetugenda kukyamuukirira kaakati kubanga twabiraba ne mu mabaati baakwatayo abamu abanene bo ne babaleka. So kati fe abamu tetunnasanyuka kiri awo. Twagala okunoonyereza kuno kwongere okugaziwa. Nze mu kulaba okwange obuzibu bwa Paalamenti yaffe eno obutandikira mu Parliamentary Commission, ke kakiiko akakulu akatwala Paalamenti ya Uganda eno, akakiiko kentuulako. Akakiiko ako si keerufu, ebikolwa byako si birambulukufu. Mpandikidde sipiika ku makya ga leero nga mulaga amateeka, ssemateeka yaffe, Administration of Parliament Act, Rules of Procedure. Nze nga Leader of Opposition ndi member wa Parliamentary Commission okuva mu January lwe nafuuka Leader of Opposition, naye siitibwangako mu meeting yadde n'emu eya Parliamentary Commission, ate nga mpulira nti batuula mu nkukutu mu office ya speaker. Ayita ba backbench commissioners abo naga nti kati eno ku Parliamentary Commission ne basalawo bye basazeewo ku ssente empitirivu. Ekyo kikyamu, era mpandikidde speaker nga mubuuza lwaki Parliament baagala okugitwala nga akaduuka k'omuntu omu. Eno Parliament, nze ndi full member wa commission, naye siitibwa mu meeting ezo kubanga oba olyawo batya ndijja kubuuza ebibuuzo ebikambwe. Ebibuuzo byo nja bibuuza kubanga buvunaanyizibwa bwange. So mubuuzizza nti naye kaakati commission yeyina okwaprovinga budget eya Parliament, naye mpulira baatuula mu nkukutu ne bajja approvinga ne bateekamu bo bye baagala. Bwe batyo nno bwe bayisa ssente nti kaakati beewadde ono service award ne bazeewa ne bagaba zi contracts, ate nga contracts ezimu bazeegabira bo nga bo kampuni zaabwe. Kyovudde olaba batuula mu nkukutu, fe abalala tebatuyita. So sigenda kutuula awo nsirike nga ndaba ebikyamu bitambula. Obuzibu awo we buva. Parliamentary Commission erina okubeera ennambulukufu obulungi kubanga zino ssente za muwomusolo. So speaker mubuuza lwaki siitibwa mu commission meetings zino, lwaki bayisa ebintu ebyenjawulo ne bawa abakozi bangi emirimu abamutuulira baŋŋanda zaabwe naki, lwaki nze tebampita mu meetings ezo ate nga ndi full member wa commission, ne beegabira zi contracts, ne beegabira ssente n'ebirala bingi. So mubuuza ki kye bagezaako okukweka nga bakikweka member of commission nga nze. Commission oba ne Parliament yaffe eno bw'eba yakutambula bulungi mu ngeri nnambulukufu erina okubeera accountable. Erina okubeera ne accountable eri bamemba ba Parliament, erina okubeera accountable eri bannayuganda bonna kubanga zino ssente za bannayuganda. Kyennyamiza abamemba abamu bantuukirira munnange naba NRM kabangamba naye committees zaffe teziyambiddwa kimala kukola mirimu gya committees zino. Wa committees zino genda eyo obaolya mu zi districts okunoonyereza ebintu ebyenjawulo, naye olusi baba baagala ne zi costers oba kyogenda kutambula ne bagamba tewali ssente. Kati tewali ssente kuddukanya mirimu gya committees, naye waliwo ssente buwumbi na buwumbi eza corporate social responsibility owa speaker wa Parliament. Tuziraba zi billions bateeka ku account z'abantu ab'enjawulo, abamu batuula ne beegabira zi service award, naye nga committees zo ziri zibonaabona tewali ssente zimala kuddukanya buvunaanyizibwa bwa zi committees zino. Kati ze ŋŋamba nti kino kikyamu era tetugenda kikkiriza. Era abo abanoonyereza bw'aba bali serious nga bali mu kunoonyereza ku Parliament batandikire wano mu commission etuula mu nkukutu, fe abamu tebatuyita ne bayisa be bayise ebayisa ssente zitategeerekeka wakati budget yakayisibwa. Budget ya Parliament erina kusooka kuyisibwa mu Parliamentary Commission ne tutuula ne tugikubako ebirowoozo nti wano wagendeyo ssente mmeka, eno office efune ssente mmeka. Mpulira nti baatuula mu nkukutu mu office ya speaker, nze tebampita ate nga ndi member wa commission. So neebuuza ku lwaki biki bye bakweka bye bataagala ntegeere oba mbuuza ebibuuzo ku nsonga zino ezimu. So nga Madam Speaker bw'atera okugamba nti tukolera bannayuganda, alina ky'atera okugamba nti we are a people-centered parliament. Ekyo tukirina kubeera just kigambo kukyogera kusanyusa bantu. Tubeera tutya people-centered parliament nga tetuli accountable eri abantu, nga tetuli beerufu, nga tetuli balambulukufu, ng'ebikolwa byaffe bya mu nkukutu. Olaba kati obikweka naffe bamemba ba commission, kati ani anaategeera ekigenda mu maaso ku ssente y'omuwoomusolo? So nze sigenda kusirika kubanga abantu bano siri leader of opposition kubanga baagala nnyo mbumbeere, nedda si be bannonda. Abantu bannakawa baasooka okunnonda ne nzija mu parliament, kibiina kyange ne kinsindika okubeera leader of opposition. So siriiwo lwa kisa kya muntu yenna. So sirina gwe ngenda kwegayirira, sirina gwe ngenda kutiiririra, buli omu jamuwa ekitiibwa kye, naye sirina gwe nja kutya nga mbuuza ebibuuzo ebikwata ku ssente y'omuwoomusolo naddala wano ku parliament wentuula. Mwebale nnyo. Why come out now? Good enough, a number of you have said I have been calling you again and again to talk about these issues. I've been writing several letters regarding these matters. So I'm not just coming out now. I have, even on the floor of Parliament, raised the matter of commission meetings. And the Speaker on the floor of Parliament said, don't worry, the commission will sit. That was her response, yeah? So I'm only reiterating these issues because of passage of time, but also the new discoveries, because it's of recent that I've gotten information that there are clandestine meetings that sit. All right, so as I keep getting information, I'll keep speaking about these issues because they are problematic. Is this a scapegoat? About what? Because I don't think there should be anything to hide, and that's what I'm telling the Commission. Stop meeting quietly and secretly as you look out some of us. All right, what exactly is it that you're hiding? Regarding some opposition MPs receiving summons, I don't know as yet. I have no information to that effect. Normally, when police is to summon an MP, they write to the Speaker of Parliament. And the Speaker is the one who delivers the summons to the Member of Parliament. So I don't know how many summons the Speaker has received and which particular members of Parliament are targeted, whether NRM or opposition. I don't have information to that effect. Am I supposed to be invited to the commission? Yes. Because, for example, whenever I come to Parliament, should I just go to the Speaker's office and find, is there a commission meeting today? Even committees of Parliament don't operate that way. I was a committee chairperson, and whenever we had a meeting, I would, through the clerk to the committee, invite members each time. So that's how we are supposed to operate in an orderly manner. So I'm not supposed to always be, I don't know, having spies at the Speaker's office. Now, whenever you see backbench commissioners going to the Speaker's office, you alert me so that I also run and I come to attend. Because you see, the Speaker has the right to call anyone in her office over anything. So I don't have a problem with the Speaker meeting whoever. I only have a problem with her convening a commission meeting without some of us being informed, because we are supposed to be notified of a commission meeting. Even when there is a special commission meeting that is meant to be abrupt or whatever the case might be, we are supposed to be notified. So it's not happening, and that's my challenge. That's my problem. Maybe let me respond to that together with someone who asked, how often is the commission meant to meet? Ideally, it should be at least quarterly, at least. but sometimes it can be more times, depending on what's happening, issues that have got to be addressed. Because you see, the commission, why the commission has got to meet regularly, it is the top organ of parliament. It's like the board of parliament. Okay, so for any functional institution, the board is meant to meet at least quarterly because decisions have got to be taken. The commission here is the one that approves for anyone to be recruited and all of these different things. The commission is the one that approves monies to be spent and so on and so forth. That's why it's meant to meet regularly. So that's why I'm bothered, because I have learned that they meet quietly as a small group. And I'm saying that's illegal, totally illegal. I'm told the speaker is a lawyer like myself. Let's follow the law, because the law is very clear. Rachel, are you getting feedback from the speaker over these different letters? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes she has responded on the floor to say, "LOP, I got your letter, but don't worry, the commission will eventually sit." But you see, the reason I keep writing is because I want to be on record. I'm not doing it for fun. As a lawyer, I know that it's important for me to be on record, so that tomorrow the speaker doesn't say, "Well, you didn't inform me about these issues." I'll have my record to show, but here, I did write to you over these concerns. So that's why I keep writing, so that I am on record. So that tomorrow no one feigns ignorance, to say, "Well, I'm hearing that concern, that complaint of the LOP for the first time." But you see, I don't even have to complain, because the law is very clear. I'm part of the commission. I am meant to be invited for, because you see, I lead one side of parliament. The same way the lead of government business leads one side of parliament. How do you leave such critical leaders, with all due respect, out of such a meeting? How? Commission allowances, I don't even know how to respond to that, because I've not attended any commission meeting. So I don't know what happens there. I don't even know what they discuss, because they have not invited me for even one, not even one. Yeah, so, and that's why I keep insisting it's important that I attend. I want to know what's happening there. What are they discussing? Who is being given contracts? And so on and so forth. Yeah, how do I feel when all of this is said about Parliament? It is sad. It is sad that Parliament has become a laughing stock in the public out there, and that's why some of us are fighting to see that these issues are addressed. That's why we shall not keep quiet. Because how can Parliament be ridiculed like this? And yet, I am glad that people out there are speaking out. I'm glad that the general public is saying we shall not leave these matters to just you people in Parliament. We are concerned because it's our taxpayer money. I am glad. And I encourage members of the general public, civil society organizations, religious leaders, cultural leaders to speak out. Because what happens here in Parliament affects you whether you like it or not. The other day we were quarreling about tax bills. They affect everybody. So when decisions are taken, when laws are passed, they will affect you whether you like it or not. So I encourage members of the general public, please take interest in the happenings here at Parliament. And I would like to appeal to religious leaders. Some of these leaders here, they normally come before you, they attend functions in church, you give them front seats, you invite them as chief guests. Okay, partly because you want them to contribute to your churches and the mosques and, the different projects. But as they give you money, please put these issues to them, because they listen to you as religious leaders. Don't just be happy to receive cars from them and money, and then you say, I will not question this person, otherwise they won't bring more money. Otherwise, then you're part of the problem. Namayo, shouldn't NUP maybe pick another LOP, or as somebody was asking, should I not resign as LOP because I'm being frustrated? Maybe there's a reason why I'm being frustrated. Because I ask critical questions, because I want to know. Okay? And maybe that's why my party chose me, because they knew I would insist on some of these issues. So by insisting on these issues, I'm doing my job, and I will not stop. If anything, I'll take it a notch higher. Because I think they want to frustrate me so that I keep quiet, and they keep cutting their deals in the Parliamentary Commission. I'll not keep quiet, because I'm not a member of the commission at the wish of anybody. None of those people on the commission invited me there. None of them. I'm sure if they were to cast a vote, all of them would vote and say, Ssenyonyi should cease being a member of the commission. But unfortunately, they don't have those powers. So I am there, and I am there to stay, and I will demand for my space in that commission, because I'm there on behalf of the people of Uganda. And these questions that I ask them on behalf of the people of Uganda. That's why I'll not keep quiet. Budget speech attendance for the LOP. We were here and we communicated about that, both for the State of the Nation address and the budget speech, because of our concerns. As we said, the budget is not a true reflection of the people of Uganda. Even we in the opposition, we cannot comfortably say that that's our budget. I cannot defend that budget anywhere, whether it be on a talk show or anywhere, I cannot. And that's why we had our alternative budget. That's why we had our minority reports regarding the budget. But all of them were disregarded. So we are still saying there's a problem. But in addition to that, the procedures that were followed in passing this budget, you bring a corrigenda last minute, 14 trillion shillings, as if it is just 14 million or whatever the case might be. 14 trillion. You bring it last minute, you in a rushed manner, and so on. And then as the speaker was putting the question, people vote a particular way, and then for you declare your own results. All those are irregularities that we are saying no to. So by us not attending, I know, yes, the budget was eventually passed because the majority had their way, but we are saying, to be on record, we are disgruntled about many of these happenings. And it's important to be on record. Okay, yes, Shamim yabuuziza lwaki ensonga zino zivaayo kati. Ensonga zino nze nga nzoogerako, nze nga mbayita bannamawulire, era sijja kusirika, nja sigala nga mbyogerako. Buli kye mpulira nja kyogerako. Kuba kati nakategeera nti basisinkana mu nkukutu. Ekyo mbadde nkisuspectinga, naye kati nafunye information. So kati sijja sirika, nja sigala nga mbyogerako lwaki batuula mu nkukutu. Biki bye bakweka. Lwaki tebaagala ffe abamu tubeere mu zi meetings nate nga teeka tulina okuzibeeramu. Waliwo ab'opposition abamu abafunye samunzi sinnategeera, kubanga omubaka wa parliament bw'aba ayitibwa ku poliisi CID bawandiikira speaker, era speaker oyo samunzi aziwa omubaka n'amugamba waaye bakuyise ku poliisi, genda wennyonnyoleko. So simanyi ani mulala gwe baakawandiikira, speaker y'amanyi. Nina kuyitibwa buyitibwa okutuula mu commission meetings. Ate kati n'ategeera ntya nti waliwo commission meeting bwe mba sitegeezeddwako, kubanga sijja genda buli kanaku ngende wa speaker nti waaye leero waliyo commission meeting nzuno. So tulina okubeera orderly, kuba ne committee meetings, nali committee chairperson, nga buli wabeerawo meeting mpandikira abaka nti abaaye enkya tulina meeting mujje mubeerewo. So kati ne commission meeting bwelina okubeera, kubanga speaker waddembe okusinkana omuntu yenna, oba mubaka oba ki, ekyo zikirinaako buzibu. Obuzibu bwe mbulina nti bwasinkana back commission azagamba nti kakati eno ye commission tusalewo bye twagala okusalawo, nga ffe abamu tetutegedde, tetuyitiddwa. Mpita nkugambe nti kale siriiwo oba sijja kusobola oba ki, naye bw'okikola mu nkukutu, oba olina ky'okweka, oba olina ky'oyagala okuyisaawo, ffe abamu tube nga tetutegedde, ate tujja bikkiriza ebintu ebyo. Kyabuuzizza bwe mpandiika amabaluwa gano speaker agaddamu, oluusi addamu, oluusi taddamu. Oluusi addamu okufuuya parliament nti LOP ebbaluwa yo nagifunye, etofaayo commission ejja kutuula ne bikomaawo. Naye kati nze nsigala mpandiika, nsigala mujjukiza. Lwaki mpandiika amabaluwa gano gonna? Kubanga njagala mbeere ku record. Saagala enkya omuntu yenna yeebuzaabuze nti ebintu bino tetwabimanyaako. So nja sigala nga mbiwandiika, nga mbakootingira n'amateeka, baleme kwebuzaabuza nti oba oli awo amateeka tebagamanyi. Nkakasa bagamanyi, balina n'ababawabula, naye nange nja bajjukiza bakootingira amateeka, ebintu nga birina okutambula. So y'ensonga lwaki nsigala mpandiika amabaluwa gano, mbeere ku record, enkya waleme kubeerawo olwekwaso yonna yonna. commission allowances n'ebirala muna ebingi bye simanyi kubanga sinatula mu commission meeting n'ekyo kyodola nemeddeko njagala ntegeere ki ekigenda mu maaso oba tulaba discussinga ki zi contracts ze bayisa za ki era company ezo ze bawa contracts company zaani era procurement regulations zonna zigobererwa nga bagaba contracts zino byonna bye bakola mu commission nga member wa commission ajjudde mpulira ntya nga ebintu bino byonna byogerebwa ku parliament muna mpulira bubi kubanga ndi member wa parliament ate kati ntuula kakiiko ak'okuntikko aka parliament so bwe mpulira ebintu ebikyamu ebyogerebwa ku parliament mpulira bubi nga member naye ndi musanyufu nti abantu boogera era njagala bakubira omulanga bannayuganda temusirika musigale nga mwogera kubanga ekikwata ku parliament kibakwatako mbakubiriza temusirika ku nguzi ku bubbi bwa ssente y'omuwoomusolo ebigenda wano ku parliament mwogere muyimisa amaloboozi gammwe njagala kukubiriza n'abakulembeze abalala abakulembeze ab'ennono civil society bannaddiini mwogere ku nsonga zino kubanga ffenna zitukwatako obaabo bannaddiini abamu batya okwogera ku bintu bino kubanga abantu bano ababba ssente y'omuwoomusolo mubayita mu makyachezi mizikiti nawa ne mbawa obutebe obw'omu maaso kubanga bagenda bawaayo ku ssente naye nga bw'oyaniriza ssente ezo abantu bano mubabuuze nti naye betuwulira eyo biki ebigenda mu maaso nti yuwaayi zino ssente z'otuleetedde zo zivudde wa ze zimu kuzirize wabba nsonga eyo nkulu nnyo bannaddiini kubanga yemmwe ettaala yemmwe ettooki naye kakati tooki bw'eneezikira awo tubeera mu nzikiza commission erina schedules commission eringa board y'ekitongole kyonna board erina kusinkana buli myezi ng'esatu okuwayamu ku nsonga ez'enjawulo okusalawo ku nsonga ez'enjawulo kakati commission nayo bw'etyo nga board erina okusinkana okuwa abantu contracts ez'enjawulo okuyisa budget ya commission n'ebirala bingi so erina kubanga esisinkana ekitono ennyo buli myezi ng'esatu in fact oluusi gisukka nawo nga bingi ebitambula bingi ebirina okusalibwawo naye nga bwe ŋŋambye nti basisinkana eyo mu nkukutu ndekyempakanya kubanga kikyamu kimenya amateeka baleme kwekweka eyo biki bye bakweka namayo nti naye zenge gye bannemesa lwaki tebaleetayo mulala lwaki sibivaamu ebintu bino munnange ndoza waliwo ensonga lwaki nze gwe bataagala ntuule mu meetings ezo kuba mbuuza ebibuuzo bingi ate nga sijja kusirika nja bibuuzanga abantu bano tebali n'omu ku bo eyampita nti ndi member wa commission kubanga bakyagala kibeerewo ekityo oba bannyamba tekiri bwe kityo so ndiyo ng'etteeka bwe ligamba ate nga nja kulemerako paka nga mbuuza ebibuuzo bino nga ŋŋamba nti commission meetings zituule bulungi nga bwe kirina okubeera fe abalina ebibuuzo byetwagala okubuuza tubibuuze kubanga siriyo ku muntu yenna ku abo nti bannyamba buyambi okubeerayo si bwe kiri ensonga ya budget speech nga bwe nagambye nti luli twabategeeza nti state of the nation address ne budget speech fenga aba opposition twakkaanya saalagira bulagizi munaye twatuula nga shadow cabinet ne tukikkaanyaako so tekiri nti LOP yalagira si bwe bukulembeze obwange tutuula nga bakulembeze nga shadow cabinet ne tuwaayamu ku nsonga zino ku kya budget era ne tugamba nti yes budget yayisibwa parliament naye ffe tulina okwemulugunya eyo budget kyovudula basisobola na gidefendinga giwolereza wantu wonna kubanga tekiikirira bannayuganda kyovudula batwalina alternative budget yaffe twalina zi minority reports ze baagaana okuteekako essira naye nga tugamba nti awo wewali ekinyusi ate n'ekirala kyetwemulugunyako process engeri gye byatambula last minute awo ne baleetako regenda ya butabalika 14 trillion awo mu nkuku mu speed eyite n'ekirala speaker abuuza ekibuuzo abantu akalalo ne bakakuba mu ngeri ndala ate ye n'alangirira ebibi ebyayagala kati ebyo byonna nga tugamba nti nedda ebintu bino bikyamu so obutagendayo kwolesa kwemulugunya kwaffe era nga twagala kibeere ku record kikulu nnyo okubeera ku record so tebatutuwala ffenna mu kayoolo oyo yensonga lwaki ne ku budget speech tetujja kubeerayo nga bwe twakkaanya. Mwebale nnyo. Okay, buuza n'ekyo njuddemu kyekisembayo I think. Musajja muveeko. Okay, if opposition MPs are also summoned, but you see, we in the opposition, and particularly the party that I belong to, we were one of those who made the first alarm and took the first action against one of our own. Corruption is corruption. Even if you belong to the opposition, which I lead here in Parliament, even if you belong to my political party, we are not going to cover up for anybody. All right? Corruption must be addressed squarely, regardless who. The Gulu seating, as I did say, and I wrote to the Speaker, she has not written back to me yet on that one. Because I wrote to her asking, so you have made this pronouncement about the Gulu seating. How did it come to be? And when I wrote to her at the State of the Nation address, I did hear her say, we thank the President because he approved the seating. But Mr. Museveni is not the Parliamentary Commission. There is such a thing as the different arms of government which are meant to operate independently. There's such a thing as the doctrine of separation of powers. Okay, let's imagine he approved. Are you then saying that he's the one who decides for Parliament? Because the commission is meant to sit regarding these matters. They have a financial implication. Maybe those are some of the quiet, clandestine commission meetings that have sat where some of us are not. And we are raising the red flag regarding that. The Honorable Veronica's signature, I think I did communicate about that. Firstly, you cannot withdraw a signature on such a censure motion. But number two, I think it's important that we are honest as leaders, because the meeting that I chaired was a meeting of the shadow cabinet. The Honorable Veronica is not a member of the shadow cabinet, has never been. So she has never attended any of our meetings because she's not a member. That meeting, she didn't attend it because she's not a member. So how can she say that I invited her for a meeting and hoodwinked her to sign a censure motion? Let's be serious, as leaders. You know, people consider MPs to be at a certain level. Let's not water ourselves down. The motion that is being signed had the title, clearly, censure motion for the commissioners. So how do you say you signed it as attendance list for a meeting which you don't belong to, for a meeting which you did not even attend, because you're not a member of that meeting? So she was not here for that meeting. So where did she find the register to sign as a you know, there's a lot that's happening. Members are being intimidated from signing. Those who are signing, messages are sent to them, threatening them, intimidating them, and that kind of thing. Now you want to be going on a trip again. This will happen to you, and so on. Let's not be intimidated. All right? Let's do the right thing. And if you're intimidated, please don't look shabby that now you have signed what you knew as the censure motion, but because they've intimidated you, you're trying to jump out of it, but in a shabby way. You end up messing yourself up a lot more. What happens to those that have not signed? Members of Parliament are expected to take decisions. They can consult. There gets to be guidance and so on and so forth. But ultimately, you take a decision which is good for you and the people that you represent. Our hope is that our colleagues will listen to the voices of the people whom they represent and what they are saying, because we are not here on our own. That's very important, that at the back of what we do, the people that we represent should be at the forefront. The Masaka function, I have spoken about this. I have not seen an invitation yet. I saw somebody in the media saying that they will bring invitations to my office. I've not found them there. But as I said, if I eventually get the invitation, we as NUP made it very clear. The Honorable Mpuga no longer represents our interests on the commission. The NEC that sought to approve for him to be a commissioner It's the same neck that sat and passed a vote of no confidence against him. And so we made it very clear that if he chooses to remain on the commission, he's there on his own, not representing our interests. So that's why we cannot go to a function where he is apparently thanking God for being a commissioner, and maybe he's also thanking God for the 500 million and other things. I don't know. But that's why we cannot participate in that function, because we don't want to confuse the people out there. They are saying, wait, this is a problematic issue. And this is no longer an issue of NUP. Members of Parliament are signing a censure motion, many of whom actually belong to the NRM. So it's a question of impropriety, of corruption, of an irregularity that happened. And so we don't want to mix ourselves with such irregularities. Jimmy, I think, was saying that, was asking what happens. No, was asking whether I have authority to command members. Is that so? Again, I wish we actually had powers to determine what the budget should be from where we sit. Then the alternative budget, which we presented even to you and gave you copies, that would be the budget. So the minority reports that we presented, those would carry the day. Yeah, because that's what should be. As it is, the budget was passed by majority, even though we disagreed with many things therein. It gets to be the budget of the country, but we are opposed to many things therein, as we are opposed to many other issues that keep coming up. The other day, money was passed 578 billion for a one Magola, for a factory. We said, no, this is wrong. But it was passed. So when he gets the money, legally he will say, well, Parliament passed it. We discussed the service award of the outgoing Auditor General. My view was that he is entitled to benefits. Let him get his benefits. But the extra service award, no. But majority of the members passed it, 500 million as extra service award. And that's the point we have been making, by the way, even regarding our colleagues. Because for the Auditor General, even though many of us disagreed with it, but at least we debated it, and majority passed it. So when he gets that money tomorrow, it will not be an illegality. It might be problematic. That's why we opposed it, but at least it was debated and passed. These other colleagues of ours, they just sat quietly, clandestine in a meeting, passed money, gave it to themselves, and so on. So that's what it is. Opposition, abamu bayitibwa, bwe banayitibwa, ffe tugamba nti omuntu yenna yeetaba mu kubba ssente y'omuwoomusolo akwatibwe ku nkoona. Oba wa kibiina ki, oba wa kibiina ki. In fact, bwe tuzuula nti abamu ku baffe beetabye mu bintu bino, ffe abajja n'osooka okubakwata ku nkoona nga bwe tuze tukikola. Kubanga toyinza kwekweka n'ogamba nze ndi opposition. Okubeera opposition tekitegeeza nti ofuuke mubbi. Ensonga ya ggulu, okutuula eggulu, nawandiikira sipiika ne mubuuza ku nsonga zino babisalawo batya, byajja bitya, kubanga kyetaagisa ssente mpitirivu. Commission yatuula, namuwulira ku State of the Nation Address ng'agamba nti yeebaza Mwami Museveni olw'okukkiriza olutuula luno olwa Parliament lubeereyo eggulu. Ne neebuuza, Mwami Museveni kati asalirawo Parliament? Parliament tekyetengeredde, kubanga Parliament erina commission, Parliamentary Commission, yeetuula n'esalawo ebintu bino tikyetaagisa ssente. Abaka baba bagenda bonna kutuula eggulu, ssente buwumbi na buwumbi weetaagisa zirina okuyitisibwa. Ne kati yagamba nti Mwami Museveni yakiyisa. Kyagamba nti tuli mu nsawo za Mwami Museveni kyayagala okutegeeza. Ensonga ya Honorable Veronica twajogerako. Okusookera ddala toyinza bw'oba omaze okusayininga censure motion, toyinza kujjayo mukono gwo. Etteeka terikukkiriza. Naye ate mwannyinaze oyo abeere wa mazima. Kikulu ng'abakulembeze ne tubeera ba mazima. Meeting gy'agamba kuba agamba mbu namuyita mu meeting ne muwuddiisa asayininge. Simanyi na lwe nasemba kwogera na Honorable Veronica. nene ekyokubiri meeting gye nayita yali ya shadow cabinet. Honorable Veronica tabeerangako member wa shadow cabinet era ne meeting eyo teyagiriimu, yatuula wano nze nagikubiriza teyaliimu kubanga si member wa shadow cabinet. Kati ate abeera eyo n'agamba nti yasayininga attendance register ya meeting gy'otalina kubeeramu era gy'otaalimu. Tubeere bamazima bannange. Ayinza okuba bambi mukazi wattu yamala okusayininga ne bamutiisatiisa kubanga babikola. Abantu abasinga abasayininga babasindikira bu messages ne bakubira amasimu kaakati gwe togenda kuddamu kufuna trip waweerwa ggwanga, togenda kufuna kino, tojja kufuna mukisa gwogera mu parliament n'ebirala. So naye ayinza okuba bamutiisatiisa n'agamba nkibuukamu ntya naye ate engeri gy'agezaako kibuukamu yeyongera kumwonoona. So tubeere bamazima ng'abakulembeze. Ki ekinaatuukawo ku abo abataasayiningi nti okusingira ddala nga bamemba ba parliament tuli accountable eri abo abantu abaatulonda. Era njagala kukubiriza abakulembeze bannange tuwulirize abantu abatusindika mu parliament ki kye bagamba ku nsonga eno. Masaka, mukolo gwa Masaka nawulidde ku mitimbagano eyo nti balese wano kaadi sinaziraba ne bwe zinaabeerawo nga bwe tuzze tugamba nti Honorable Mathias Mpuuga NEC eyatuula ne musindika mu commission ye NEC yemu yatuula ne mujjayo mu commission. Era ne tugamba nti bw'osalawo okusigalayo munange oliyo ku lulwo si ku lwaffe. Kati ate tetuyinza kwetaba mu mukolo gwagamba nti yeebaza omutonzi olw'ekifo ekyo n'obukadde 5 n'ebirala. Yeebaze Katonda we mu ngeri gy'ayagala, naye ffe tetuyinza kwetaba mu ekyo kubanga tuli on record nga tugamba nti kino kikyamu. Kati tuyinza kwetaba mu kwebaza Katonda, tuyinza kwetaba mu kwebaza Katonda ku kintu kye tulaba nti kikyamu. That's an interesting question. When you say a grudge with the former LOP, over what? Because a grudge would mean I have a bone to pick with him, would mean maybe he has something that I want. I don't want to occupy the position he's in as commissioner. So I'm not fighting for anything that he has, with all due respect. So where would the grudge be from? Okay? And that's what some people are using to say there is a grudge. There is no grudge. It is a question of an illegality that happened. Because let me ask, so all the people who have signed the censure motion, including NRM MPs, do they also have a grudge with him? Maybe you need to ask them. It's a question of an illegality that happened. So a grudge does not arise because there's nothing that he has which I'm saying now that one should be mine. No. Bwe tunafuna kaadi ezigamba nti mukolo gukyuseemukko gwa kwetonda gwa penitensia, obuuli awo tuyinza okugenda kubanga ffenna tuli bantu. Omwana w'omuntu asobya, era bw'osobya kirungi ne weetereza kye twagamba munnaffe oyo nti yeesi ensobi wagikola naye weetereze, vaayo mu commission otereze ensonga zino lwakubanga yagaana okukikola. Naye theme y'omukolo bw'ekyuka nti kaakati yakwenenya naki tujja musanyukirako eri omutonzi kubanga ffenna kye tulina okukola kubanga ffenna tuli baana b'abantu.